Lockdown really allowed me to just settle down and think, who
Yeah.
am I? I just know I can do more. We don't want to live life mediocre. We don't want to live life on just wake up in the morning, you go to bed. No, we need more than that. There is more than that. We need to learn to put ourselves first. So when it comes to health and well-being, it's important for us to actually be able
Yeah.
to advocate for ourselves as women. If you want to be able to impact your community, you want to impact your family, you want to impact even global scale, you have to start from yourself.
Hello, everyone. Starting a new year always bring at least one new resolution, and it is always about health, finance, and holistic well-being. So guess what? So our first recording of 2026 start with a guest who has an intense knowledge and resources in this area. All right. She's from Trinity College, Dublin, and holds a Master's of Pharmacy at the University of East Anglia. All right. So she's also the founder of Women of Impact and Our Wellness Hubs. And I am so happy to have her today. Now, guys, before getting into the conversation with the amazing, devoted mother, wife, health coach, and entrepreneur and executive, I want to ask you a favor. All right. So, have you subscribed to our channel? If you like what we're doing today, can you click the like button, subscribe, and then stay tuned with us as we embark on this amazing conversation with Mrs. Moradeun Odowole. So I'd like to welcome you to the GSTV today. And I just want to say that she has a decade of experience in healthcare, and she's very passionate about holistic health. And she's also love coaching people about living the best life, healthy life possible. So today we welcome Moradeun, apology if I don't pronounce her name very well, and to GSTV. Welcome to the show. And how are you today?
Hi, Aline. Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me to your platform, to your podcast. I feel so blessed. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to the subscribers of GSTV. It's a pleasure for me to be here with you.
Yeah.
And I'm doing great. I'm doing great. It's a new year. What better way to just feel good, feel blessed, thankful to God for life, thankful for, opportunities and just being able to serve. So I'm doing good.
Yeah. So we have agreed and we've been trying to get into a conversation for a while now, both of us. And we have agreed that the reason why we think we need to talk about it, there's not enough conversation about impact. Now, just a reminder, GSTV is about an impact in the community, but it's also about inspiration and it's also about hope. All right. So when I met you and I heard your story at the Health Summit, I was very intrigued. And I did follow a little bit of what you do online. And before we talk about all these amazing things that you're doing for women in the community, I just want to find out who is this beautiful lady you are? Who is Moradeun? Who are you?
Okay, let's get into it. I smile because, that question, it can be answered in many ways. I can
Yeah.
keep it simple, I can go deeper, but, you know, I would say overall, like you said, thank you for the introduction. So my name is Moradeun Odowole, and you can probably tell from my accent, it's not an Irish accent, it's a British accent. So I was born in England. So I grew up in England, grew up in London for most of my adult life, and then now I live in Ireland. I met my husband here, and we've been living in Ireland. I love this country, and I also like the fact that I'm not too far from home.
Mm.
So, I could always get on a plane and, go visit my family. So I'm from Nigerian heritage. So although I was born in England, my parents, came from Nigeria in West Africa. So,
Okay.
I have a lot of cultural influences in my upbringing and, also part of, what I believe and stand for. So that is me, if you want to say it that way. Like you said, I'm a wife, I'm a mother of two beautiful children, a boy and a girl. And yeah, so apart from, all of the things that I do, that is my basis and my, my backbone. So yeah.
Okay.
Thank
And
you.
that's really good. Like, I know your accent was quite English, but I didn't know you were born in the UK, right?
Yeah.
So what was it like growing up in the UK? Obviously, as a foreign person, being born in the UK and being there for so long, how was it like?
Okay, so I think I would say I feel blessed. Why is that? Because growing up in England, especially the England of in the 90s and early 2000s, yeah, like I feel blessed. Like with my childhood, I grew up before the internet. Like I grew up
You don't
before we
say.
had all of this going on now. So before Facebook and Instagram. So we grew up just on TV, and it's so funny they were saying that because I'm just even thinking now when you look back and you're like, in those moments you wouldn't even think that there's anything outside of what you grow up with. You wouldn't think that there was anything beyond just the normal putting the video in there, the video, as I forgot what it's
Yeah.
called, VCR. You wouldn't think, but
Yeah, the VCR and the DVDs.
and DVDs. Now look what we have with streaming. So I feel blessed. I was able to experience these things, and so now I see things differently, and appreciate more. And yeah, so growing up in England, yeah, it was good. Like I have no issues. I just think the UK is great. I lived in London, so I lived in cosmopolitan, lots of different cultures.
Yeah.
You see so much. I went to, when you're in schools in London, in the city, you have access to so much, things that you
Mm.
probably take for granted now. So like, interestingly enough, now when people say, oh, they went to England, they're going to the city to visit, the Millennium Wheel. I will remember when they built the Millennium Wheel, or they're going
Yeah.
to the aquarium.
Yeah.
That's stone throw away. So I feel blessed I was able to see that St. Paul's Cathedral, all those things. I had relatives, that lived there. Even the underground where, that's just normal. But
Yeah.
some people like that's a privilege to actually get on the underground. How many people can say, how many countries have that kind of service for transport?
Yeah.
So I always look at things from that kind of perspective, always full of gratitude. So therefore, yeah, I enjoyed it. And now that I live away from it, I love going back home. I can see, the development. I can see also, like different ways, how they say, like, it's when you leave somewhere that you fully,
Fully
appreciate what you've
understand.
got
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
So even for me, the insight that I have now living in Ireland, is actually visiting more other parts of England and the UK. So I think
Mm.
the difference between I see from Ireland compared to London or the UK is I don't know much of the history like that, but from my observations is a lot of, like, let's say the African Caribbean people lived in like proper London, if you see what I
Yeah.
mean. So we're all like in the
Yeah.
one space, but we weren't
Yeah.
really spread out. So it's like you won't see people who say, "Oh, I'm going to Manchester," or "I'm going
Okay.
to," like, you won't really see people even leave their own vicinity. But thank God now things are changing. There's people everywhere, so it's like the world is it's big, but it's also there's a lot more movement. People are moving. They're open,
Mm.
being more open minded, not restricted as much. So, which is
Yeah.
good because exposure is important.
Mm.
Seeing different things, being exposed to different things. You open your mindset. You say, okay, do you know what? I can move levels.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Now tell me, one of the things that you say I say that being born in Europe kind of shape a lot of things about yourself, unlike me who's born in Africa, right?
Mm-hmm.
So before we go into what you were involved into,
Yeah.
one of the main reasons why we are talking today is, were you going home, did you see kind of did your sense of identity being born in Europe kind of some part of your heritage, or do you feel far away from your heritage, or do you feel closer to your heritage? Is it something that you feel like, you have heritage, which is African, right?
Yeah.
But how does that evolve into your life being born in Europe, actually, especially
Okay.
at that time? Because I rarely see people who grew up in the 90s like I really interview people who grew up in the 90s who are different heritage, and they're here. But you see either people, the likes of people like a kid who are like in the 2000, and you kind of know, but someone who grew up in the 90s in the UK, like, and your heritage, how do you feel? Do you feel closer to your heritage or not?
I definitely would say I do, because although we lived in a different country, my parents, they, really, they weren't heavy on culture, but culture was part of us.
Okay.
So, for example, from food, so it depends on like food, language, family, community, just that sense of, knowing who you are and knowing where you're from. That's always been part of us. So I would say the good part is what they definitely imprinted in me and my siblings. And I definitely feel like, my mum especially, she's quite like, she exposed us to a lot of things, which is good for me, I would say, in hindsight. So it's like she wasn't too strict and say, oh, in our culture we do this, so therefore you must follow this. She's quite open-minded, so I think that also helps as well. So I would say, yeah, that's why. And also the sense of identity, I think that also comes with being part of community. We're really part of a strong community, especially like with church and, just school and friends and everything. So being part of a community also helps as well. That you can't go out of line or do anything silly because, you've got your aunties, you've got your uncles, you've got people who are there just, just to keep you on track and check. Then another thing is also, I'll say in reflection, is knowing that, even just knowing where I came from, like going back to Nigeria, going back to Africa and seeing where you came from, seeing where my mum grew up, or, things like that, you kind of feel like, okay, you can see what they've done to give us this life that we have now. So now I always say this to people, it's like, okay, so what am I now doing? So they've given me now this mantle, those Olympics when they're running and they give the baton to the next person who's doing the marathon. It's like, okay, I have now this baton. What am I doing now for my family, my children, that I've been given this opportunity? Because another thing is I see this as opportunity to grow, to develop, especially because let's say if you're looking at it from what's going on now in many African countries, is there's still so much that can be done to help people, to take them out from, if it's poverty or, lack of resources or lack of, just basic survival. And so therefore it's just like, okay, what can we do with the knowledge that we have now? So yeah, that's it really. I would say in a nutshell.
And would you say that has shaped all the activity you're doing now? So let's talk a little bit about your journey into the health coaching experience. So walk me through how it came about. Is this your upbringing and what your experience shaped the decision of supporting women? Because I see you talk a little bit about your mother there. So sometimes our mother have an influence on us,
Yeah, they do. So I would say we'll take it back. So obviously, we've shared that I'm a mother, I'm a wife. I think motherhood, that's where it kind of triggers, that next level. Kind of it opens you up. You blossom, you develop as a woman, and I would say that's where it kind of really stemmed from. Especially, I had my son, my first child, during COVID. I was away from my family. I was away from, what lockdown really was. Lockdown. And so it highlighted me even more the importance of community, of family, and also sense of purpose, because I really had a lot of time to think about myself because I wasn't working, and I'm a very ambitious person. I'm always on the go, boom, 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 boom. I'm always doing things. And lockdown really allowed me to just settle down and think. I was just focusing on my son. My husband at the time was, and he was my boyfriend then. But, we were just our own little circle. And I was just able to really just think, okay, who am I? Why am I here? I know I'm a mother, okay, but I wasn't also comfortable with just being at home. I now knew that wasn't yeah, like I knew that stay at home mum, because sometimes,
Yeah.
before you are in a situation, you kind of think, oh yeah, yeah, I want to be this, I want to be that. But when you're now put in that position, is that really what you want? Can you do it? So I knew that, okay, maybe
Mm.
stay at home mum, as much as it's great, is not, I don't feel as, I wouldn't say as fulfilled, but I just know I can do more. Feel,
Okay.
yeah, I can do more. So in a sense that, like, I'm more of like a working mum,
Yeah. Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
So that I was able to understand that, because my mind was like, I need something to do. I need a project to work on, etc.
Yeah.
So the reason why I'm sharing this is because then once I now got my sense of purpose and what makes me happy, what gives me joy, what
Yeah.
do I love to do, that's the journey. I was then, started my journey, marrying it with, family life as well.
Yeah.
Then in 2023 I had a period where I was in I had like a short period of, I'll say, illness.
Okay.
And then that's when it really stretched me even more, because I was able to see how you can just have a moment where everything is fine and the next minute it's not.
Just go. And it's interesting you say that. I just don't want to cut you. It's interesting you mentioned that, because there's always a turning point that open up gifting, right? So it's like it's so amazing. Everybody I interview, you weren't the only not the only person who say, I've always dreamed to be a pharmacist. I always dreamed to be, there's always that turning point that open up the
Mm,
mind of that purpose, right? That sense of purpose, because it's
mm.
there, right? So tell me through that moment, that transition where you realize, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to help women with.
Yeah, exactly. So that was it. So once I'd had that revelation to me, and when I really felt, okay, I can, really do this, then I said, okay, let me. So I had a vision. I really also, to mention as well, I think around that time as well, there's just a lot of conversation about, women, a woman's worth,
Mm.
values. There was just so much
Yeah.
conversation online, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, let's reel it back, right? Let's just kind of reel it back. And I think, social media, and people were using, the social media a lot more, back in 2022, 23, because of, lockdown and post lockdown. So I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I love, let me again do something that will kind of do what I love to do. And I love people. I love bringing people together. I love serving. I just love sharing and everything. So I said, okay, let me, have this event. And
Okay.
also, Woman of Impact was birthed through that, because it was able for me to kind of, it's like, okay, we don't want to live life mediocre.
Okay.
We don't want to live life on just, you wake up in the morning, you go to bed. No, we need more than that. There is more than that. And it's
Mm.
for people to get that, activation, that push, that drive. And, slowly, then I didn't know, but I knew that, I'm someone who can help people just kind of visualize that. And it also comes through knowledge, it comes through understanding and application of the knowledge that they know. So I say, what better way? So, for example, when it comes to finances, a lot of people don't know, let's say, how to get a mortgage, the best way to save, this, just things that maybe some
The
other
simple
people,
things.
the
Yeah.
simple things. So I said,
Yeah.
okay, I then, set up the event. So it was then just an event to kind of just encourage women, and also another thing is just, you want to go out, dress up, look good,
Mm-hmm.
and just be around other like-minded women. You want to feel encouraged. You want to feel strengthened. There is strength in like community and people coming together as well. Women come together. So that's
Yeah.
when we set
Yeah.
that up then. And so we focus on health. So women's health. We focus on family. We focus on femininity, and we
Okay.
focus on finance. Again, it's just, how can we pose ourselves as women to be more. We want to, like, this loud noise of, women are, whatever negative term They say women when they come together, it's not great. Actually, that's not true. That's not the narrative. So we want to write our own narrative. We want to say the reality of what we see. And also, I'm also somebody who believes in, we start from yourself first. So if you want to be able to impact, you know, your community, you want to impact your family, you want to impact even global scale, you have to start from yourself. And that's how it kind of blows and blossoms.
So tell me, so tell me a little bit. So you started it up. So what does that look like when you say you focus on health? What are the tips? What are the things that you do that can be someone like me who probably are learning about that experience? What does that look like to you guys? When you say you're helping women on health, what are you guys doing exactly?
Okay, so
because health is broad, right? So
health is broad. So in our conferences and events, it's just knowledge sharing. So we just give tips on insight. So it could be menopause, it could be mental health,
the big subjects.
Our last event we had someone talk about pelvic floor. Just things, that conversations that aren't necessarily had. And the thing is like, we don't want to wait any longer till diagnosis that it's, the diagnosis is there. It's even just having that knowledge, because I also look at back, I use myself as an example, to kind of, navigate, because it's like, no one told me this.
Okay.
No one taught me this. I didn't know this. Like, fair enough, I'm in the health space, so I have more insight. But if I wasn't in the health space, I wouldn't know these things. It's not in my face. I'm not aware. So it's like raising awareness, especially for women in our community, so the Black, African, Caribbean community. We have to really prioritize more, raise that awareness, actually, talk about these things, talk about, pelvic floor, for example. How many women know the pelvic floor exercises or are aware of it? Understanding our bodies better.
And what do you see a lot in our community that seems to be an issue that we neglect? Is this a common issue that we have as women? In mostly, I wouldn't specifically say our community, but in general, we women that you see, what are the issues that women don't always think about?
So I think for women, if I want to sum it up, I would say it really is just putting ourselves, we don't put ourselves first.
Okay.
That may necessarily be, it's like a strength and a weakness, because obviously in our nature, we're the nurturers, we're the more loving, we're more loving, we're more feminine, we're more soft. So it's like, well, we need to learn to put ourselves first. So when it comes to health and well-being, it's important for us to actually, being able to advocate for ourselves as women, being able to actually, noticing, okay, my body doesn't feel right, actually, let me go to the doctor, let me get that checked out, let me not live in fear, because it all starts from the mind. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because myself, I've been there. For me to get to that point of actually saying, I'm just going to go, it took years or months of, I don't want, do you know what I mean? So it's like,
Very
okay,
well.
so we need to, it's like, it's a mindset thing of knowing that it's okay to actually, looking after yourself is okay.
Yeah.
It starts from you.
So you have Women of Impact?
Oh, yeah. So Women of Impact is a separate organization. So that's actually a social enterprise, a wellness hub. So that I started that last year. So it's health coaching. So now it's just meeting with, clients and patients who are, want to actually or need someone to hold their hand in their health journey. So someone who's maybe a diabetic, for example, that just needs to know, okay, I really want to, kind of work on my diabetes. I'm not sure how. Yes, I'm on medication, but what are the lifestyle changes that I can make to actually improve? It's also just like that accountability. I find that a lot of people, they need, just someone to just be that support system with them, where they feel safe, that okay, I'm feeling this way, someone there is looking after me. Focus on their health needs. And we also do, staycation. So if people who are also interested in just having that rest time and, how, what to do, they're not sure, they can come to us and then we can help support them in booking and things like that.
Yeah. So do you have trained physicians who are working with you, or it's just you and...
Yes, me at the moment, but
Okay.
hopefully, to expand it to,
Yeah.
be able to get more people involved to support as well.
All right. Now, one thing that I'm hearing a lot when I have conversation with women who are doing a lot of things and are mothers and their wives and whatever. I mean, even if you're not a wife, but some people are mothers. And how do you navigate? We talked about the struggle of navigating because you coach people about health, but how did you see this evolving in your life, the navigation between being a wife, staying being a wife, and then fulfilling your duty as a wife, as you know how it is, and then fulfilling your duty as a mother, and then having to do your job full time as are you working as well? Because that's something we haven't mentioned, as a pharmacist and doing all those ventures. So what are the things that you learned through your process of navigating those areas of your life?
Wow, that's a great question because, to be honest, I am still learning.
I like
I
that.
don't
Yeah.
think I think it's about being strategic. Like, I'm a woman of faith. I believe in God, so praying and just getting direction and, asking God for strength. So that spiritual connection. But I think overall it's actually just prioritizing what's important, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What needs to be done now? Obviously, I have things that are definitely non-negotiables, and actually just like being okay. Like, sometimes, you know, I would say before I used to be someone, okay, this has to be done at this time, at this time, at this time. Yes, routine is great, but also allowing for room for grace and like things can happen, but it's like, okay, how then do you shift from it to then come back? So let's say if, I have a webinar or I have a meeting coming up, but it's 5 minutes to and my son's deciding he wants a cuddle. Allowing myself to not maybe give out and then the tantrums that follow, but actually just be like, okay, talking and so it's like I've learned, and I'm still learning because I have a young family, a growing family. But I would
Yeah.
say, yeah, and also just be realistic. I had to learn this because I'm someone who used to just say yes to everything, but now,
Okay.
for
You get
example,
burnt out. Yeah. Yeah.
yes, you get burnt out, and just actually, just knowing what I can do and knowing, being able to politely say, okay, I can't do this now, but can we, just having those conversations. I think communication is so important, and just being able to just share what's on your mind right now and, where you are at now. So, for example, to add as well, also working with people who understand my situation. So, I work a lot with mothers. I work a lot with people who have families because then they're a bit more gracious. Whereas
Yeah.
with people who, let's say, don't have kids, it's not. I do still work with them, but I am aware that they don't fully understand the complexities and the dynamics of having, a family. Because, you know, so for example, if someone says they need something done, I
Yeah.
always give a deadline because I won't be able to get it done that evening. If you see what I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
stuff like
Well,
that.
I
So
see
it's
that
just,
when we were actually planning, we always had this, I have the children at this time, I have this
yeah,
student, we have to figure out when we can do it before this. And I think it's, I suspect where you're saying, what you're saying there is that you don't have, you take away the guilt, right?
yeah,
Because I think we feel guilty a lot.
yes, the
A lot
guilt,
of people
yeah,
don't do things because they feel guilty. They feel, if I do this, how am I going to look like? I mean, I'm an entrepreneur now, but if I say I have to look after my family, does that make me look weak? And you see, some people don't want to show that on the outside, and where actually that's what made our conversation and our encounter beautiful, because I saw someone who knew how to prioritize her time, and which is amazing. Now, talking about the two organizations that you're working with,
sure.
is there anything that you want to tell us a little bit more about it, and how people can get into you if they need,
Okay,
and what kind of service to provide,
yeah.
and how? Yeah.
So With Women of Impact, it's a social enterprise, so we have events that run throughout the year. Last
Okay.
year we had 2 branches and our main conference, so it's
I need to say that you live in, I noticed some of them are in Galway, but I just want
yeah,
to know, do you
Galway.
nationwide?
So last year we had the branches were in Dublin and Cork, and our conference was
Okay.
in Galway. So this
All right.
year we're still looking for direction, but you can follow us on our social media, Women of Impact,
Okay.
and to find out more. But definitely we would have our conference this year, and I think at the moment I'm very big on collaboration as well. So working with
Okay.
other people who have similar visions, similar mindsets, and so see how we can work together to, really outreach to more women. Because another thing I'm noticing as well is also we need just a space. It doesn't have to be like I'm reaching out to 200 or 500 crowd, but if it's someone who connects with the vision, connects with what we do, wants to
Yeah.
come along, by all means do. You can send me a message. I'm on Instagram, Moradeun Odowole, LinkedIn, all the platforms, and and things like that. Then with our wellness hub, I offer one-to-one coaching. I actually have a webinar coming up in 2 weeks on the 27th of January, which is called
And
Living
what do you
Well.
expect to see when you go to those webinars? So if I say I'm going to go to this, what am I looking to see
Okay, so
happening there? Yeah.
with Women of Impact, really it's the day to fill your cup. So if we
Mm.
do, so again, from getting dressed, even though every single thing, getting dressed, you're coming to meet other women. It depends if it's a brunch or if it's an actual conference, but definitely just coming to be filled, coming to be reset, coming to be realigned. So it could be, so one of our brunches last year we did flower making
Okay.
as well as having speaker talks. This year in our conference we did cupcake decorating as well as having speaker talks and panel sessions. You having a dinner. Like I said, it's just a day for you to be poured into, meet other like-minded women, reconnecting with your purpose, getting ideas on how you can actually, improve and impact your own life so that you can, impact others around you. So
Yeah.
that's really the the joys of Women of Impact. Really, as I'm saying this and I'm smiling because the feedback that I get after the events is just so powerful and encouraging for me as well, to know that okay, this is great. And
Yeah.
when people see it, they're like, oh my gosh, I really wish I could make it, and stuff like that. So for me it's just a day for just women to just come together and just be strengthened, because there is power in that. And
Okay.
again, what people need in that season, there's so much that's going on that people mask, and we just, put the lip gloss
Mm.
on, get the hair done, and we don't share. But that's a space, a safe space to actually be like, okay, I really want to talk about this. I'm not sure,
Mm.
let's say, for example, someone mentioned something, even as simple as even childbearing and the difficulties or the challenge they face during childbirth and stuff like that. And they were able
Yeah.
to just connect with someone then who could, so things like that where you just feel safe and you're able to then get the knowledge or
Give
the
yourself.
wisdom,
Yeah. Yeah.
insights that you need. Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
that's where it is. And obviously covering through our pillars, so femininity, finance, family, and health. So those
Yeah.
are very important. So yeah, that's Women of Impact. Then with like our wellness hub, I'm having a webinar on the
Okay.
27th of January, which is just talking about
Is it face to
um
face or online?
yeah, it's online.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, webinar, obviously. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
they can
You
register
get confused sometimes, yeah.
with the webinar, yeah. So it's on nutrition, just emotional well-being, habit building, because that's so important. And what a better time to really work on that than the new year in January. So if anybody is interested, it's on Zoom. They can connect with you and get the link and everything. I'll share with you the poster, and
Okay.
then if they wanted to go on further, then I could offer, discuss about the services that I provide with the one-to-one coaching.
Okay.
And that's really it. It's just really, it's for this person who's willing to just take their health needs to the next level. They need that push. They need that drive. They're tired of where they are now.
Mm.
In their health journey, they want more, and maybe the current services that are available aren't serving them well.
Yeah. And what did you learn about yourself through the process from that moment of realization of your purpose? Because I was talking to someone the other day and they say, they're like older now and they still say, I still don't have a sense of my purpose. And I think we don't always have that. So that moment you realize, okay, that's my purpose, and to starting all this activity, what are the things that you've learned with the growing process? What are the things that people can learn from you, from the growth, from the moment of my purpose to now, where am I? Still, I know you're still learning, but there were the few things that you learned along the way. What can you tell our listeners?
Okay, I would say what I have learned definitely is trusting. Like I said, I'm a woman of faith, so trusting in God.
Okay.
I really thought, okay, I have this vision. God's given me this vision, and that's it. I'm just going to run with it. But actually, that's when a lot of different fireworks started, happening. And I was like, oh, okay, what's this? Perfect time for me to crawl and hide. But I was like, okay, Lord, I didn't just generate this from myself. I need help. And so
Okay.
I would say that's a major one for me, trusting God and actually realizing for myself, I learned more what I enjoy doing and what fulfillment really is, because that word can be said, but what does that actually look like?
Yeah.
And how best I serve people. I think I read this experience made me understand myself better. Another thing is more about my financial management, like starting a business. You can have the business, you can have the business idea, but the actual business etiquette, that's actually a
Yes.
whole different ball game. So it's
Yeah.
like I'm learning business etiquette and just development really. So I would say those
Because
are my
because
key learns.
your strength really is into the health, right? And then you realize that there's other moving games. Like just
Yeah.
me, when I started the podcast, I realized that there's not just about us sitting here. You see all the struggle we had. Like people would never know, but we have to be transparent that there was a lot of struggle into setting up and
Set it up.
the back end of it, right? And these are the things that your gift is not just enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's
Yeah,
other
you need
things that you have to
support.
learn. Yeah. And
Yeah.
did you learn how to delegate or seeking help? How do people, because people are afraid to fail and they don't want to ask for help. So is there something that you were doing, or did you do everything?
Yeah, that's it. I had to unlearn that I can't do it all. So
Okay.
delegation. So
Yeah.
even also, I think sometimes even if we look at it, I would say that, okay, I thought, okay, when I would say like earning X amount or this much followers, that's when my business is a business. But actually,
No.
I don't need those things anymore to just feel like, okay, this is something that is,
Yeah, is
worthy.
that impact to one person? That is
Yeah,
enough. One person
yeah,
at a time. Yeah,
yeah,
and I hear you. I feel
yeah.
it. I know. I know. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm enjoying the process. It's definitely
Mm.
challenging, but I'm enjoying and I'm enjoying, the testimonies that I'm getting back, the people's feedback and connecting with amazing people like yourself, because I know if I hadn't even stepped up and said, okay, I want to, be part of this community, I probably wouldn't have met you the way I've met you. I probably would have seen you on social media because obviously you're, connected with a lot of people who are on socials and stuff like that. But I wouldn't have known you. And so that's it. It's also learning more about that social network, that social, networking as well. And, it's not just about the money and that. It's actually really becoming that impact in different areas as well.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm hearing that you've learned first to rely on God and
Yeah.
the Almighty God, and you learn to delegate. You learn to seek for
Delegate.
help. And I think what I sense from what you say is that you didn't feel like you can do it all. You just knew you want to do it. You just had your passion, but you knew that somewhere down the line, and your sense of vulnerability and how vulnerable you are came to the platform, came up. Yeah. Because why I'm saying this is because when I started this journey, even when I was working, even I was a professional,
Mm,
there's a pressure on people to show. Do you know that expression, fake it to make it? And I think I
mm,
hate that expression with all my life, because that's the reason why we have so much mental health, because people lose themselves and they don't know who you
mm,
are. And being vulnerable is dangerous. You don't have to expose your vulnerability to everybody, but admit that you have that vulnerability and that you need help with that the passion of what you like is not enough, right? It's just you need help, and you need to help God to help you, and seeking the right help and delegation as well. Having to have, and I think the thing with delegation, I think, is to have to trust the people who believe in your passion as well, isn't it?
Yeah, to trust. Yeah, it's trust and people who understand your vision. Working with people who understand your vision, and also learning how to like lead. So naturally, for example, I'm a firstborn. I would say I'm a natural leader as a result, but it's like there's a difference between leading, because I've always been somebody who, I don't believe a leader is a boss. It's actually you're serving other people even as a leader. So it's like how to do that, how, because it's easy to say, but what does that actually look like when you're having a team, when you're messaging people? You just sending instructions, or are you actually sending it in a way that the people know what you want, and then they're able to deliver when they do give you the feedback? Is it received well so that they can work more? So stuff like that. So I think it's also taught me about myself, and that also leadership development as well. And also I'm somebody who's big on like vision, and I'm also big on I'm working, I'm always working towards something greater. So I'm always gonna put my best in all that I do, even if it's something.
Are you kind to yourself?
Pardon?
Are you kind to yourself all over the way? Like, have you
Am I
learned
kind? Well, my recent happenings in life, I would say probably not as much, but I'm learning to be more kind. So I'm learning that, and that's it. It's once we know better, we do better. So I'm thankful for that. Yeah.
Now, it's been an amazing conversation. I think we can spend hours talking about health and women, and we can spend hours, but I'm very conscious of the fact that a lot of times a lot can be said, but I challenge you to come back and we can talk about specific topic that you have. GSTV is always open. Now, I want to remind my listeners that Moradeun is a coach and a health coach and well-being coach, as much as a pharmacist as well, but she support a lot of people. Can you walk us a little bit through before we finish?
Yeah, I would say for our wellness hub, that is a space for anyone who's interested in working on their health and well-being. So that could be through talking to me about your, emotional well-being, through counseling services. I also do trauma healing as well. So it's just if that person who's looking to work on those specific areas, or if where you just don't understand the patterns that's happening, or you're going through a moment and just don't know how to come out of it, just I'm that space to just hold the person's hand in that. Then with the health coaching, it's again lifestyle medicine health coaching. So it's looking at maybe if there's someone who's got diagnosed with diabetes or any chronic disease, blood pressure, things like that. But they want to improve on it. So they don't want to remain stuck on the medicines and, continuously taking the medicines lifelong, but they want to improve on that, because that's it. It's like, it's actually, as individuals, it's like, some people are happy. They're just happy to just be surviving in that state. But then there's, naturally, even look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We want to push ourselves to a state of thriving. So that's where healing from within comes from. That's my slogan: healing from within, wellness from within. So, for example, even we're talking about us mothers here, as women, we want to, when our bodies are right, when we understand our bodies better, we're able to serve our families in a better way. So that's when the health coaching space comes in. It's like, okay, let's talk, let's have a conversation. We could do like a 4-week program or a 12-week program where we're really looking deep into the medication that you're taking, your lifestyle choices, the times that you sleep, the times that you wake up, fitness level, nutrition, everything is really compacted, and we're going to break it down and build it back up, habit building. So that's why, you can come to me, and I have my webinar, like I mentioned before, that I'll be doing. So it's just like a little taster. Then we can push then and go on to the program. And So you can contact me. My Instagram is Moradeun Odowole, or my email is info.ourwellness@gmail.com. Or if they can contact you as well, and you can forward them my details.
Oh, yeah.
So
Definitely. Yeah. I have 2 more questions for you. So last year you did a big webinar or conference called Authentic, right?
Yes.
Authenticity, I think. So tell me a little bit, what does authenticity look like? What does that mean from your point of view?
Thank you for asking that. I think her authenticity is when a woman is being at a point where they're walking in their true self. When they've taken the mask off, when she's taken the mask off, taking the mask off the pain, taking a mask of hurt, taking a mask of negative surroundings, environments that doesn't allow her to flourish and bloom. So her authenticity is that space where we're learning the tools to build the woman to be authentic. Because when you're now authentic, you're able to walk in your power. You're able to work in your purpose. You're not, worried about this person may think this way or that person may think this way. You're not worried. There's no worries.
Yeah.
It's just, you're just living on purpose, even in your finances and everything. You see what I mean? So that's her authenticity. It was about being as a woman, because there's so much that's going out there, negative thoughts, things that had been said in the past,
regret,
emotional, emotional baggages that's holding down. So it's about breaking down those baggages, removing those masks, and just blooming.
Yeah. And if you had to talk to your younger self, what would you say about the little girl in the street of London who was probably running around the snow and the rain and whatever? I would say running around the sun, but you didn't have much of
it was in the rain. Yeah, it was in the rain.
What would you say to that young person?
What would I say to her?
What you know now about health and about anything in life, not just
Oh, thank you. I would say continue with what you're doing now. I'm super, super proud of the woman that she's becoming, and be authentic. I think her authenticity came from a place of enough is enough. We no longer want to hold on to these things that aren't serving us well. In order for us to serve at our best, we have to let go of the baggages. And I'm saying this, my own personal experience, and I'm saying this from even things that I know from, people. So it's like, we just want, in order to bloom, we have to let go and be in the right environment to bloom. So that's why the spaces that I create and also that I'm a part of is also just part for women to really flourish and bloom, because that's when we can really do what we're here for.
Yeah, has been such an amazing conversation.
Thank you.
And I'm really proud of you. It takes a lot of courage to think about health. And because we all go, we want to do something and we want to be something else than what we are. And I'm looking forward to be in one of your events. And I'm challenging myself to drive all the way up wherever it is and go away sometime. And I will try my best. Just make sure you let me know. But also, thank you so much for giving us this time to tell us about your journey, and also to really encourage people at this time of the year to think about their health, to think about it's the most important commodity, right? Isn't it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, thank you so much for being on GSTV, and bye everyone. Thank you. All right. Thank you.